Hello everyone. In this video, we'll understand the folder structure of our project. I'm just going to stop the server from my terminal, and I will use VS Code as the code editor, but you can use anything else if you prefer. So I'm just going to write code dot and my project is now opened inside of VS Code. I'm going to use the VS Code's integrated terminal to start my project. npm start. So everything is working as usual. If you look on the left sidebar, you'll see that we have some files and folders in our project. The first one is the node modules folder. And if I collapse this folder, you'll see that we have many more folders inside of it. So it's a huge list of folders, and it's just, I mean, there's a meme associated with this if you're interested. These are some of the most heaviest object in the universe. First we have the sun, then we have the neutron star, then there is black hole, and then we have the node modules folder. So yeah, I mean, you can expect it to be really heavy. So what this node modules folder contains is that it contains all the necessary dependencies in our project. So one of the most popular dependency is called Webpack. This is Webpack. So this is responsible for minifying and bundling our project. Also, it gets rid of all the unnecessary CSS. There are many more like this inside of our node modules folder. But the thing is, it just contains all of our dependencies that's related to our project. Then we have the public folder, and inside of the public folder, we have favicon.ico. This is this icon right here, just beside React app. Then we have index.html, and here we have the skeleton of our index page. So we have a HTML tag. Inside of it, we have a head tag. Okay, inside we have our title, that's React app, and then inside of body, we have an empty div with the ID root. Keep this one in mind because we will come back to this one very soon. Then we have logo and a bigger logo. This is actually this spinning logo. We're actually using CSS to spin this logo. So that's it for the public folder. Then we have the source folder, and inside the source folder, we have the app component. Inside, we can see that we have some HTML, and we have imported the logo and app.css on top. This may look like HTML, but this is not actual HTML. I mean, if this was HTML, then our file extension would be .html or htm, but this is actually .js file, and this HTML syntax is called JSX, which stands for JavaScript XML. This app.js file is what we are seeing in the browser currently. So we have a logo, and then we have edit src/app.js, save to reload, and then we have learn React. Let's see the code. It has a image tag with src, meaning the source is the logo, and then we have edit src/app.js and save to reload, and then we have learn React. Now if I put another p tag below the other p tag, and let's just write hello world as an example and hit save, and then if we go to the browser, we'll see that we don't even have to refresh. Our browser hot reloaded, and we can see the hello world. If you're wondering how we're spinning this React logo back in the code, you'll see that we have imported an app.css file up top, and we have the CSS to rotate this logo inside this app.css file that is right here. Next, we have the index file, index.js file, and inside you'll see that we have imported React, then we have React DOM, then we have imported a CSS file, and then we're importing this app.js file. Before explaining what this code does, I'd like to visit the package.json file. The package.json file includes the list of dependencies that came pre-installed or the dependencies that we will install later in our project. It also contains our script. So remember, we have executed the command npm start. So this is actually defined in here. So back in the index folder, we see that we have a root, we have a constant called root, and this is actually react.dom dot create root, which is a method, and it takes an argument which is the root div that we created inside the index file. Remember this empty div? So yes, in JavaScript we have a method called document.getElementById, and this get element, by using this get element by id, we get this empty div in the index file, index.html file. And then we have a root.render method, and inside of this render method we are giving it an argument which is our app component. Don't worry about this react.strict mode. All this does, it doesn't really render any element in the UI, in the screen. All it does is that it gives us warnings about potential issues. So what we're saying is that what this code basically does is that it takes the root element from here, this is empty, and it pushes the app component inside of this empty div. So if I go back to the browser and inspect, you'll see that we have a div which has the ID root, and then inside we have another div which has the class app. So if I visit my app component now, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have a div which has the class app. If I collapse even further, you'll see that we have a header with the class app.header, and then we have the image tag, the p tag, and then the hello world tag that we have written ourselves, and then we have the learn React button. To understand this further, what we can do is we can delete all of this. First, create the root, which is going to be react dom dot create root, and this takes an argument. Inside we have to provide document dot get element by id, and we actually need to provide this div inside of this create root as the argument. So if I change the id from root to main, then we'll have to write main here as well. So the id will be main. Now we need the render method, and inside the render method we can just give it a simple p tag with hello world. Right, we have our hello world. So to simplify, what we did here is that we have taken the main the div with the ID main, and we called it the root, and inside this root we have rendered a p tag. We can basically write all of our JSX code inside this render method, but we don't really want to do that because we want our code to be modular. So I'm just going to revert the way it was, and I'm just going to provide the app component as the argument. Also, I'm just going to wrap this with a react dot react dot strict mode, because we'll get warnings of any possible issues this way. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.